When I got pregnant, I told my baby's father about it. He took me to a clinic. We did a pregnancy test. It was positive. Now, I told him I want to keep the baby, but he gave me all these reasons why we should not keep the pregnancy. Some of the reasons, the ones I can remember, he spoke about my dad's career. My dad is a pastor. And he said how much shame I'm going to bring to his reputation. He spoke about his brother's career, who was a priest in a Catholic church, and how much shame and ruin it was going to bring to his brother's reputation. He spoke about the fact that we have not even graduated from the university yet, talk less of getting a job. So what kind of world are we going to be bringing this child into? The child will suffer. We'll be doing more harm than good. He spoke about the fact that it's not even a living thing yet. It's just blood. So we're not doing anything bad by getting rid of it. So these are the reasons that I can remember. Even though I still wanted to keep the baby, I saw a reason in what he was saying. Reluctantly, I told him, okay, we'll proceed with the abortion. So when we went back to Boya, I had to go to Boya to go and finish up some things in school in preparation for graduation. I went to this clinic in Boya. Is it Third Malingo or on Third Malingo? I'm always confused with these two streets. Anyway, I went to this clinic and I saw a gyno. I told her I'm pregnant, but I don't want to keep the baby. She could tell. She could tell that even though I was the one saying it, they were not my words. She could tell that it was another person speaking through me. And she did something really smart. She did not try to advise me. No, she did not even show any sign of reluctance. No, she didn't do anything. She told me, okay, we're going to proceed with what you want, but we need to do a scan. We need to see how old the pregnancy is so we know how we can proceed. I drank water, got my bladder full, they did the scan, and she made sure that I could see the screen. She showed me the screen and she showed me the baby. And she said, this is the baby. It was one tiny dot. And then she showed me something that changed everything. She showed me the baby's heartbeat. And I know she did it on purpose. She didn't have to do that. She did it. And when she showed me the baby's heartbeat, that was when I had the firmest mind made up ever. I told her, print out the picture. She printed the picture out. At that time, my baby's father was still in Yaoundé. I wrote a letter. Those days are writing letters. I wrote a letter and I sent it to him and I put the picture of the scan inside the letter. I told him, this is your baby. I just want to tell you that I'm not going to abort this child. Don't worry. I'm not going to be that person that will force you to take responsibility, force you to get married to me. I'm not going to do any of that. If you choose to be part of it, good and fine. If you choose not to be part of it, I will take care of this baby against all odds. And if my family rejects me, I will take full responsibility. But I just want you to know I'm not proceeding with the abortion. Then he contacted me and he said, he respects whatever my decision is. He will be there. He will support. We'll take care of the child together, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So after graduation, 5 months pregnant, I told my mom. When we were going back to Bamenda, he was in Bamenda also. I told my mom that I'm pregnant. My mom summoned him. He came. My mom expressed her disappointment, also expressed her reassurance that she was going to be there. At that time, my family had already decided that I have to leave. I have to go to Nigeria. So my mom shared the plan with him. If he chooses to go with me, they're going to rent a place for us for a period of time. I don't know if it was 1 year. I've forgotten. They're going to give us some money so that he can start up something to make a living and will not have to pay rent for a good amount of time. So it will help us to set up a foundation and start our life. If we choose to come back later, then it's up to us. But she just wanted him to know that if he chooses to go with me, my family will do everything they can to make sure that we are all set up there in Nigeria. He refused. And I don't judge him. He's a man and all. I just wish that he had maybe told my mom he would think about it and maybe come up with some reasonable reason to at least share with her why he will not go rather than just blatantly refuse. But he refused. So I went to Nigeria alone, went through everything that I went through alone. When I gave birth and we went to Port Harcourt, if you haven't watched the previous story, please do so you can follow up. When I gave birth, I went to Port Harcourt, where I was living with a family friend who is married to a pastor. The pastor told me for him to make progress in the work that he's doing in getting my sanity back, he has to talk with my baby's father. From a man to a man, he needs to make my baby's father understand the psychological impact that my experience is having on me, and also make him know that he needs to take responsibility, especially because we're ready to go back to Cameroon. He spoke with my baby's father. He explained everything. And my baby's father said he was going to be there. He was going to give whatever support that we need. When we come back, he will be there full time. When we went back to Cameroon, initially, he did give me the impression that he was going to make things right. And he even gave me the impression that he was going to continue the relationship and take it through to the end. And I believed him. Anyway, I took a professional course. I graduated from the university, but I took a professional course in marketing, advertising, and public relations. I completed the course. I got a job, a good job, because my daughter was in one of the most expensive schools in that area. So we were comfortable. He wasn't helping financially. I didn't expect him to. He was in Yaoundé doing his master's program, so he was not working. So I didn't expect it from him. Anyway, so I was taking care of the finances and all. We were in Bamenda and he was in Yaoundé. My cousin from my father's side, actually my dad's cousin's daughter, I don't know how to call that relationship, but I just call her cousin. She was also doing her master's in Yaoundé. This cousin, we have been together since I was in Form 5. So since I was 15 years old, I've been in the same school. I got my O levels the same time with her, A levels the same time with her. We went to UB together. We're in the same university. So we pretty much, from 15 years, we pretty much were together, growing up. I tried to be close to her, but she would always push me away, and I didn't understand why. Anyway, her parents wanted her to do something else. They had other plans for her, but she refused. She just wants to go to Yaoundé to go and do her master's. So they sent her to Yaoundé to go and do her master's. Whenever I go to Yaoundé to go and pay a visit to my baby's father with our child, he would receive me in his auntie's house. So I thought that he was living with his auntie because that's what he told me. Until this fateful day, my uncle came to visit. He came to tell us that they just found out that my cousin is 7 months pregnant for my baby's father. That shook me. It shook me. I could not take it. Psychologically, I could not take it. So I decided that I was going to summon both of them, my baby's father and my cousin, and ask them all the questions that I had running in my head because I had to hear it from them. It wasn't enough to hear from someone else. I had to hear it from them. Oof. What I found out, it was worse than just the fact that she was pregnant for my baby's father, even though we had been together since I was 15 years old. She's about 2 years older than I am. My time is up. So life for part 2.
So, you have seen it. Fornication and its problems. When I'm talking about lust and their problems, there are different kinds of lusts. But this is just fornication. I'm talking about fornication inside of sexual immorality. When I begin to talk on sexual immorality, fornication is just one. Adultery is another, homosexuality is another, lesbianism is another, incest is another, bestiality is another. If there are more other kinds of sexual immorality, that will be furthermore. But just look at fornication, and this is the problem just for only her. Then imagine the problems millions of people are experiencing all around the world as a result of fornication. The inability to live a self-disciplinary life means that you are a part and parcel of the content of this book, and that is the loss and the problems. So in this book, I explain about different kinds of loss, the kinds of problems they bring to those who are subject to the lust. And this is about fornication. She is a pastor's daughter. Her fornication brought her on, I don't know how to use the language. People call it unwanted pregnancy. But if I am to say, unwanted pregnancy does not exist, because if she does not want the pregnancy, she should not engage into fornication in the first place. And here comes the wisdom of the law of God. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not commit sexual immorality, fornication, adultery, or all of the above kinds of sexual immorality that I have mentioned. So, obeying the law of God is the means of living a life of contentment. The wisdom of the law of God is the wisdom of prevention. Prevention from troubles and the causes of troubles. God knows that fornication leads into many problems. And he says in his law, you shall not fornicate. Unwanted pregnancy is just a baptismal name, because there can be no pregnancy without sex. Whosoever does not want the pregnancy should not have sex. So this is a hypocrisy, it's a hypocritical war. I mean to say it is a hypocritical war. There is nothing like unwanted pregnancy. Rather, there should be a total avoidance of sex outside of marriage. That is the law of God and the wisdom of God. But humanity rejects it. She brought shame to herself, shame to her parents, and compelling her parents to go extra mile to spend beyond their own desire. Her parents began to rent a house for her in Nigeria, all the way from Cameroon, because they wanted to hide the pregnancy from public awareness. So they have to spend more and sudden expenditure. Then how should that be if she had a very poor parents that cannot even imagine sending her to Nigeria to go and live, paying her house rent, and still funding her education? How should that be? But however, in the end, the public is still aware of the shame, even after she had had that child. Her boyfriend began to tell her that they were still students as at then, so there is no need to have that baby. But she could not control, she could not discipline himself to have sex with her. She was not ready to bear the consequences of that immoral sex. The both of them were not ready. Even until now, they are not ready. That is the reason the same of her boyfriend went ahead to impregnate her own cousin. Two of them having babies for the same man out of wedlock. Even if the man decides to marry them tomorrow, did they prepare for the polygamy? Or will the man marry one and leave one? What will be the fate of the one that will be left behind? Do you see where the wisdom of Christianity lies? People are too daft to really understand the wisdom of Christianity. It is to many people as if Christianity is a punishment. No, it is not a punishment. It is a disciplinary system. There are two kinds of pains. Pains of discipline and the pains of regret. This lady is speaking from her pains of regret. And that is because she is unable to discipline herself. So when we say, do not fornicate, respect yourself, build yourself as a young lady, build your character, build yourself academically, build yourself secularly, build yourself Christianly. Then you become a human capital development. Even though she is a capital developed person, by her completing her education on marketing, and she is a professional marketer. Yet, the fornication she had through her lust is sabotaging everything about her life. She has come to social media to cry. This is a video for crying, and she is promising to make a part 2 of it, which I don't know if I may have access to that or not. But all I am saying is that it is very, very wise for us to live a life of discipline. When we live a life of discipline, we will save our money. There are a lot of things we will save ourselves. The distresses, the discomfort, the disappointment, the frustration, the heartbreaking. Then the fund, the money to cover the shame will be preserved. The time and the energy we will invest to cover the shame, to be running helter-skelter, will reserve all those time, all those energy, and to invest them into some other things that are meaningful and more beneficial to us and to others. Do you see the wisdom of Christianity, the wisdom of the Bible, the wisdom of God, the wisdom of the law of God? Most of you do not know the problem, what lust is. So lust is exemplified in this video by the inability to discipline sexual urge. The inability to discipline urge, the urges for everything and for anything. But I am talking about sexual urge, which had led her and her boyfriend into fornication. And what she has just explained in this video are just little among the problems that follow sexual immorality. Some people suffer the problem of sicknesses. HIV is now going rampant and all over the world. Even the America, who had been supporting some African countries during this time, this time that Donald Trump had taken over the throne of America, he is beginning to cut the financial assistance and medical assistance the America gives to some other countries. So it is not something I may wish out. It is not something I will just pray out. It is something of wisdom, and that wisdom is self-discipline. So you have to read this book, Lust and Their Problems. From here you will understand varieties of lust. And from here you will see yourself inside of this book. You will know your own weakest points. Some people have the problem of the whole lust inside of this book. Some people have conquered some in their life, and yet they are still enslaved by some of the lust. Then when you discover the ones you are still suffering from, then you see the problems that are with you. Or even you may be experiencing the problems right now. And some of you may not have known the sources of those problems. The sources of those problems are different kinds of lust you are subject to in your life. So problems discovered is a problem half solved. So with this book, you discover lusts as their kinds, the problems they cause to humanity, then it will help you to be disciplining yourself and help you to be educating others as well. And by the grace of God, I have written another book which will be published in the future, as I am sending my books to Amazon for publishing one after the other. So this is the second book that will be published by Amazon, and I believe since I have sent it and so good so far, between now and the next 2 weeks, it will be available in Amazon. This is the first one, the Olivet Prophecy, Matthew 24. So then there is a complementing book to this, and that should be Living a Contented Life. When it gets to its turn, I will also publish it. I am here to educate you from biblical principles on how to live the real life. Jesus has come that we may have life and have the life abundantly. But Satan came to steal, to kill, and to destroy everything that makes life perfectly enjoyable. So the reverse is the case between Jesus Christ and Satan. So all of these are satanic incited activities. Whatever you are engaged with, whatever activities you are engaged with, it is either glorifying God or it is glorifying Satan. And any activity caused by lust is an activity that glorifies Satan and deprives God of his glory. So do not be a part, or do not continue to be a part of those who deprive God of his glory as a result of your own lust. And you must regret if you do not overcome your lust. So try to learn, try to study, try to read. There are a lot of things you cannot really know from academic education alone. So this is one of the major reasons I do what I do. So if you want to know the Bible very quickly, accurately, and intensively, this channel is for you. May God bless you until I come your way once again. I remain your servant.